Hey geeks and gamers, before we start this episode of Turbo Zone, please check out the Button Mappers, my podcast channel that I do with my good friend Teddy from Majority. I love doing the Button Mappers. It's one of my favorite things. We do it every week, every single Monday. We put out one new podcast, and it's all about gaming, from mapping out what makes the game, how the game is, to doing episodes where we talk about games called Game Talk, or even intellectual discourses where we just shoot the shit and talk about anything. Button Mappers has been really fun, and I really want to continue doing it for the foreseeable future. So please check out Button Mappers and support it. And thanks for watching. Enjoy the video. Hey geeks and gamers, welcome back to Turbo Zone. A very special day here on Turbo Zone because we're talking about a very special game today. We're talking about an Atari 2600 homebrew game. This game is very special to me because living here in the Turbo Zone, people still work for a living here in the Turbo Zone, believe it or not. And they may not do the same type of jobs that you guys do on Earth, but we still have an ecosystem, an economy, and one of the biggest industries is space oyster farming. So I'm talking about Oystron on the Atari 2600, a homebrew game. Came out in 1997 as one of the earliest examples of homebrew games on the Atari 2600. I have the physical copy here from Atari Age, a great looking cartridge. I love the artwork on the front. It looks fantastic. I'm going to be playing it on my Atari 7800. Does work with 7800. That's great. And you can find this at Atari Age, or you can also play it on the Activision Anthology for the Game Boy Advance. It's also on there for some reason. I don't think it's on the console version. I could be wrong about that one. I know it's on the Game Boy Advance version. But Oystron. Let's just jump into Oystron. Oystron from 1997 is a homebrew Atari 2600 game developed by Piero Cavina. I hope I'm saying that right. Is, like I said, one of the earliest examples of a homebrew game popping up on the Atari 2600. You think 1997, like that's a long time. Like the Atari came out in, what was it? 1977, is that right? I think so. Yeah, this is one of the earliest examples of a homebrew game popping up on the Atari, and really shows that people still have really creative ideas for Atari games. I mean, there's still a huge homebrew community now. You can go on Atari Age and buy brand new Atari games. People are still developing Atari games. It's crazy. And Oystron is really cool. Oystron is an action game where you use the joystick and you fire at enemies and collect pearls by shooting the blue space oysters. This game is one of those games that initially you want to read the manual, which if you buy the physical version of this game, it does come with a manual, or you can look it up online, because it's a little hard to tell what you're supposed to be doing at first. So basically, you fly the little ship around, and between the two dotted lines, that's your quote-unquote play field. As the blue oysters, space oysters, fly your way, you're supposed to shoot them, collect the pearls, and drop the pearls within the play field. Other enemies will come
to your playfield and try to either destroy or take your oysters. Things like little Cheerios, space fish that explode. I know they're supposed to be bombs, but they look like space fish. Ladders, other shake weights, just like funny looking little objects will come and try to take away your pearls. So what you want to do is you want to collect the pearls and line them up and lines on the in the playfield to earn points. And it's very it's fun, but it takes a lot of focus because it's like playing a spaceship shooter and a puzzle game at the same time. You really got to be able to manage where you're placing your pearls while you're shooting. You don't want to just mash the shoot button because you end up placing your pearls everywhere and you'll never make any progress. I'm not the greatest at this game. I'll be honest. I started off doing pretty bad, and I couldn't figure out why. Like the spaceship felt really uncontrollable at first. Like I was sliding into everything, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't any fun." So just whenever I was about to give up on the game, I switched over to the Sega Genesis pad. I plugged in my 6-button controller, and I was like, you know what? I'll give it a try with this. If I still can't play this game, I'll move on and talk about something else. So I plugged in the Sega Genesis 6-button controller, and lo and behold, the D-pad made this game infinitely infinitely more playable than the joystick did. It was crazy, and it's a shame because whenever I play Atari games, I like using the Atari joystick. It has that authentic feel, so it's playable with the Sega Genesis gamepad, and that's the way I would recommend playing it. But I really did wish it felt better with the joystick. You gotta hand it to him. This game is super creative. This is like one of the most involved Atari games. It's crazy. Not to even mention at the end of each level, the main boss Oysteron appears, which I've only got to happen a couple times, and the screen starts flashing and going crazy, and he's flying around, and you're supposed to drop a bomb in his path, and then you go to a warp phase to the next level. But I'm not that good at this game, so I didn't get to that point. I got to the point where I could drop the bomb in his path, but I never actually killed the guy. But this is the kind of game that you want to practice and play. It's very fun. It's very different. Like I said, it's like a spaceship shooter mixed with a puzzle game. I don't know. It's hard to explain what really makes this game stand out amongst other games on the console. Because take a game on the console like Space Invaders or something like that, or Demon Attack, where you're just shooting the aliens and moving on to the next stage. This game, you don't really do that. You shoot the enemies, but you also need to shoot the space oysters and get the pearls and put them in rows of 8, and that'll get you a bomb. And whenever Oysteron appears at the end of the level, you gotta kill him. It kind of reminds me of Yar's Revenge, if Yar's Revenge had a puzzle game aspect or something. I don't know. It's very odd, and I'm kind of curious how they really came up with this one. It's very creative. Is this one of my favorite Atari games? No. I will go back to it every once in a while. It is one that I do find enjoyable, but it is not my top. It's not even my top homebrew games. But being an early example of what homebrew games could be on the Atari, and really like breathing new life back into the 2600 scene, Oysteron's special, and this is a highly regarded homebrew game on the Atari, and I can see why. It is fun. It is very fun. But like I said, I do wish it was a little more playable with the joystick. But you know, space oyster farming is something that has been around for years now, for decades here in the Turbo Zone. It's a very nice way to experience the culture of space oyster farming, because space oyster farming is dangerous. They got the exploding fish, the exploding space fish. They got that part right. That happens all the freaking time. I don't know how many times I'm on my way to work and I hit a space fish and boom, it sucks. But it's a good way to experience the culture. And who doesn't like space fish? Like exploding space fish? I mean, I like shooting them. I like to kill them because they're annoying as all hell. But I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Oystron on the Atari 2600 comes recommended. I do think this one is worth owning the cartridge. It's a very inventive, fun Atari 2600 experience, and you should pick it up.
That was Oystron. A pretty cool homebrew game. It is pretty difficult. Not one that I'm great at, but one that I am glad I own. I'm glad I own this cartridge. I love owning physical Atari 2600 cartridges. They look fantastic. I have a ton of Atari games. So if you would like to see more Atari homebrew reviews or videos or just more Atari videos, please let me know. I would love to do more Atari videos. I know that's not really a big topic on YouTube, but it's something that interests me, and hopefully it's something that interests you if you're watching this. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying the video. I hope to keep doing Turbo Zone, make it more frequent now that I'm settled here in my brand new Turbo HQ. Check out the background. I got Sega Genesis cases back here. I got tons of cases back here. Look at this. I got like Lotus 2, Herzog's Y, fucking Bad Port of Doom. I love Bad Ports of Doom. This wall makes me happy because Sega makes me happy, and so does Atari. If I could just like fill this wall with boxes, that'd be amazing.
Hey geeks and gamers, TurboBot90013 here. Remember to subscribe to the Turbo Zone for more content. The Arcade Overlord, thank you. Stay retro. Turbo Zone.